it off.
Yeah.
Are you mic? You're mic.
Can you hear me? I don't think I really need a microphone. Thank you for being here this evening. My name is Mary Sanchez. I am with Credit Counseling of Arkansas, as Mark Foster is. Credit Counseling of Arkansas is a nonprofit organization. We offer a variety of financial services, including budgeting, credit report reviews for people who are establishing credit or trying to get their credit score where it needs to be. We do student loan counseling. We do mortgage delinquency counseling, pre-purchase housing counseling. We do reverse mortgage counseling. So we offer a variety of services for the community. Most of the services that we offer are free. We do have a small fee for some of the services that we offer, but like I said, most of our services are free. This evening, well, I kind of want to brag on my coworker, Mark Foster. Mark is the Director of Education. He's only been with CCOA for 24 years, excuse me. I've only been with CCOA for a little over 21 years. So all that to say, we've been working together for a long time. We obviously love what we do. I'm a certified credit counselor, also a certified educator. Mark is going to do the presentation this evening, and then the ongoing classes, I'll be doing them without my partner in crime, Mark. But let's give a warm welcome to Mark
Mary.
Foster.
Thank you, Mary. Mary is wonderful. She has such a huge heart for our clients. We hear so many positive stories. So one of the things I neglected to say is our entire class tonight will be taught in Espanol. So, hola, me llama está Marcos. ¿Cómo estás? Okay, all right, there we go. That's about it. That's all I got. So, 2 years of high school Spanish, and I don't remember a whole lot, but you know, use it or lose it, they say. So.
I'm going to interject something real quick, and I'm glad you mentioned that because we offer services in English and Spanish.
Yes.
Mark is our backup Spanish speaker, but
we're in trouble.
But I do speak Spanish, and we have 2 other people on staff who fluent Spanish like I do. We also have translators for our Marshallese clients as well. Take it away, Mark.
Thanks, Mary.
¿Dónde está la biblioteca? What did I just say?
Where's my Bible?
Where's the library?
I know.
Biblioteca is
I know.
library. Where's the library?
That's like the first thing you learn in Spanish class. ¿Dónde está el baño? All right. Here we go. And my Marshallese is even rustier than my Espanol. I can say Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Como tata.
Is it amor?
There we go. That's about it. So. All right. So we're going to talk about savings, and this is in partnership with a Capital One grant that we have. But there's our phone number and website there, ccoacares.com. So why save? It puts you in control. You know, savings can prevent a problem from becoming a crisis. In fact, most U.S. households faced at least one major unexpected expense in the last year, and many struggled to pay for them. Savings can also help you keep safe from debt spirals. Too much debt can become very difficult to repay, but even can help you to avoid financial hardship and give you peace of mind. I think of it like financial freedom. So savings gives you a sense of financial freedom. Now, it might sell a lot of books to say you can be a millionaire and you can be a millionaire. I don't know how realistic all that is, but to say that, you know, most everybody can have some measure of financial freedom where they're not living paycheck to paycheck or something, I mean, that's pretty doable for many, if not most people. So what would having a little bit of financial freedom mean to you with regards to savings? What would that look like?
Being able to like go to the doctor when you need to, you know, like not have to worry about the bills.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one.
We have 2 dogs, so they usually have to go to the doctor more frequently than we do because they're adventurers. So that's a big one.
That is a big one.
Allow me to be able to like invest in things that I'm interested in without feeling like I'm like putting my livelihood in danger.
Okay.
A bit more money to pursue other things because I help run a small business, and that's also allowed me to like branch out and kind of do my own thing. So.
Okay. All right. Care to add anything?
The last 3 dogs we've had have been special needs dogs. 2 of them have since passed on. They were very expensive.
Yes.
And the one we have now had heartburn.
Mm.
And I'd heard that you can treat heartburn, but I'd heard that it was very expensive.
Yeah.
But now, you gotta think of that context here. It wasn't quite as expensive as I thought because it wasn't thousands.
Ah.
It was only hundreds of dollars.
Okay.
But yeah, we had enough stashed away that there was no question. Of course we'll treat her.
Okay. Yeah, it's, you know, you were mentioning doctor visits, and I can remember, I can't remember if I was my last year, my senior year of college, or the year I got out. But I remember my steering wheel kind of went around like a clown car like this. I mean, it was still attached, but it was, I've never seen a car do that before or since. I don't know what was wrong with it, but it was like, well, the car still drives, and I don't have the whatever this is going to cost to fix it, you know. And then my parents found out about it, like, you can't drive a car around like that with the steering wheel like going like this, you know. Get that in the shop, we'll pay for it. But yeah, that's stressful. And I remember when I couldn't, you know, when I.
Open your.
Oh yeah. That was. Oh, the running joke is people have been at CCOA for a long time. They remember this little blue car my wife bought her senior year high school graduation present to herself that I ended up driving because of the fuel economy, and I drove the most, this little subcompact Mercury Tracer, but we got our money's worth out of that thing, drove it to 212,000 miles or so. But the door quit working, the driver's side door, and it was too hard to like open the passenger door and kind of get over on the, so it was actually easier, and it wasn't easy, but it was easier to open up the hatchback and crawl through the hatchback to get to the driver's seat.
I so wish we had a picture of that, because we would stand inside and watch Mark. We would always be ready for Mark to get to the office. We're like, oh, let's watch this.
Let's watch this.
Funny.
Yeah. In fact, one time I had a class here downtown Fayetteville. I think it was City Hall. Isn't it right by the police? And I guess I just got done speaking, and I started crawling in the back of my car, and I look over and I see a cop standing there, and I'm like, uh-oh, he's going to think I'm breaking into somebody's car, right? So I'm like, oh crap. And he just smiles, just chuckled and walked off. So I was like, whew. So I thought I was going to get in trouble. He's like, hey, this guy's breaking into somebody's car. So yeah, so having that savings cushion can help you take care of things like a doctor visit, a steering wheel that's all wonky, or the hatchback that's broken and the door that needs fixed or whatever, you know. So What's one question Mary has? It's an awesome question to ask people on the front end of a class is, what's the biggest thing or two that you're hoping to get out of this class or to discuss or talk about? Anything in particular?
It's really how to not like spend all of our paycheck, you know, like how to reel it in and like be able to put our money like in the places it needs to go instead of just wondering. I mean, we know where it goes, like we don't spend it recklessly by any means, but I just feel like we need more focus.
All right.
Like percentages of what should be put
Yeah.
towards what
Yeah.
when it comes to the end of our paycheck,
Yeah,
and how much like should be invested in savings with that.
Okay. And this class can be helpful, but even more helpful is one-on-one with like Mary and talking with her, and you're getting specific look at your financial situation, and that's a free financial appointment. So I'd like to mention that. There's no catch. We're not going to try and sell you a timeshare in Orlando. It's basically grants, and more grants that we go after to do that. Let's see here. All right. So there are some different savings goals. Rainy day savings goals for like small unexpected expenses. Emergency savings are a bigger cushion to help you through an unexpected crisis, like say a national pandemic that comes out of nowhere, or international pandemic. Now they say to aim for 3 to 6 months of expenses. That's a great long-term goal, but I think that can unintentionally be off-putting to many people who might be like weeks worth of expenses saved up. You know, you're telling me to save 3 months to half a year? Forget it. So I don't like hitting people with that at first in savings goals, because I think that can, like I said, just be unintentionally off-putting and turn people off. So you just push that back as like a long-term goal. And a more immediate goal might be 2 weeks, you know, have 2 weeks cushion. Or if you're close to that already, 4 weeks cushion. But it is a good feeling. I know financial freedom for me, I know years ago, gosh, I don't know how many years ago this was, 20 years ago or something at CCOA, they said, Mary Catherine said, oh, there was a problem with payroll. It's not going to come out today on payday Friday. There was a snag. So we'll get it fixed, but it'll be Monday or Tuesday maybe, possibly Wednesday. And I remember I was living so paycheck to paycheck, and it wasn't that I wasn't living the principles. I knew them well, but medical was just crushing us. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna? I got bills to pay. I might not get paid till Tuesday or Wednesday. And so financial freedom for me was when that happened again, like 5 years later. I was like, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the following Friday, whatever, it's all good. So I had that breathing room. I mean, I'm not a Walton or a Tyson, Elon Musk or anything by any means, but I've got that wiggle room. I'm not living paycheck to paycheck, so a half a week delay on my paycheck is okay. I can absorb that. That's not a problem. Targeted savings are for planned expenses like school expenses, holidays, or putting a deposit down on a home. But today you're going to go ahead and set savings goal, make that plan come to life, and you've got like a worksheet there in front of you too. So what would that look like? My life will be better once I've saved up to, and you know, what is your savings goal? $1,000, $2,000, or what might that be? So take a moment to chew on that, and then we'll go on to the next. Trying to keep an eye on my time because I've never done this specific slide deck before. So it's supposed to be an hour. So All right. So choose one single goal. Don't overwhelm yourself with a dozen goals or something, but just one single goal that you can clearly see and you can clearly picture in your mind that's possible because you save. Then envision your success. How are you going to feel when you have that, whatever, $1,000, $2,000, whatever your goal is? How will you feel? Where will you be? What will you be doing? How will the people that you love feel? Happy for you, excited for you. Hey, all right, Just little things meant a lot to me. I can remember my best friend since, 1990, when we went to college together. Over the years, I would say, hey, let's get together. Yeah, let's go out to eat on Friday night and go see a movie. And then Friday night would come, and sometimes he would say, oh, I don't have any money to go. And I didn't have the money to pay for both him and me. And it was really great when I got to the point where I could say, oh, don't worry about it, I got it. I can pay for dinner and the movie too. Now someone might say, that's not a big deal. Well, that was for me. Getting to that point, that was a challenge.
I don't think you've ever offered to
Pay for your movie and
pay
the
for-
dinner.
And today is Taco Tuesdays. We can joke around like this.
So write your goal and your vision. I'm sorry, that wasn't a monetary goal. My life will be better once I've saved up the 1,000 or 2,000 or whatever it'll take for me to specifically do something like pay for the doctor visits or the repairs for the car. So that ties in with the money that you can do and say, well, this amount of money will allow me to pay for repairs of my car or whatever, but what will that look like to you? I can take my best friend out to a movie and go out to eat if I have money saved up for that. I can pay for the broken car door or go to the dentist and not put that off. And how will that make you feel? I'll give you a moment to process that. My poor granddaughter is sick. Millie. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She's 2 years old and she is a bundle of fun. All right, so the next, so what was a goal that you chose for yourself and how did you picture that? What would that be like?
I need to buy a new computer for work.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And I guess I hope I'll feel more secure. My computer scares me every time I turn it on. I'll feel a bit more confident in the work that I'm able to actually put out, and I'll feel like I can get more work done and actually be more efficient if I'm able to.
And you said computer for work?
Yeah, it's good. Work and personal. They kind of my life kind of blends those two.
You got a
things
tax
together.
person, you should be able to deduct at least some of that, I would think.
Yes. Oh yeah, definitely.
There you go. I know I do. All right.
My life is a tax deduction. It feels like.
My taxes are more complex because I work full-time for CCOA and then I'm also a therapist and I do that part-time and then I also teach anger management and DWI classes.
Oh, wow.
So some people are like, well, just do your own taxes. And I'm like, I pay a lady because, yeah, it might cost me $290 to do my wife and I's taxes, but she's literally taken us before from, oh, you owe $1,900 to, oh, how about this? How about this? How about this? How about this? Okay, now you're going to get a $400 refund. It's like, oh. So to me, that's worth every penny because I don't know all the tax laws and all the options and deductions, and she didn't. I'm like, I don't want to do anything illegal, but she knows all the various deductions, and it changes from year to year. So in my case, it's like, that's worth the money investment because she tells me all the different things. What about this? What about this? What about this? One thing I didn't know was I quit deducting medical. And she's like, what'd you spend on medical last year? I'm like, well, I didn't calculate it because it's not deductible anymore. She said, well, federal, but for state it is. And I was like, I didn't know that. So yeah, and then we calculated that anyway. So that's kind of a side note, but in my case, if your taxes are very, very simple, like my oldest daughter, then you don't necessarily need that. But if they're more complex like mine, then you could recoup that money and more, yeah. So what other goal did somebody choose?
Mine was to delete my debt and kind of pad our savings more to give me room to, like, I don't love my job, so I would love to like have some room to explore some other passions, like maybe take a job that I really enjoy that pays me less than my job right now. So
Okay.
I have a little bit of room to work there.
Okay. All right.
Our medical insurance has a maximum out-of-pocket that we will have to pay. We've got a medical savings account. I'd like that to be big enough that it would cover
Okay.
the out-of-pocket expenses.
Yeah, medical is a big issue for a lot of people. You just talk to so many people who will say, well, I've got insurance, but my deductible is like $5,000 or $6,000 or something like that. And it's like, ouch. So, all right. Well, the best time to save is when the money comes in. You get a regular paycheck, you can save it when the money comes in, every week, every 2 weeks, every month. If you get paid less regularly, save a little every week. But automatic deposit's a great way to do that. And pay yourself first, not last. Years ago, I used to work in the Great Passion Play in Eureka Springs, and there was a friend of ours who was also in the cast. And she said, what am I doing wrong? This is before I got into CCOA, but I had a thing for personal finances. So she's like, what am I doing wrong? She's like, I know I make enough money from my like full-time job and part-time job, but yet invariably I still get you're late on your water bill notice or something. And she's like, what am I doing wrong? So I kind of shadowed her, which was easier to do when we worked together. And after the play at night, we go out to Pizza Hut on Friday nights and, eat there and so forth. Anyway, so now tell me what the rest of your week looks like. Well, what she was doing was she'd get paid on like Friday. Then she'd go out to eat at night. And then on Saturday, she might go to the mall with friends, go see a movie and go shopping. And then around next Wednesday or next Friday of the following week, then she would start trying to pay her bills. So I said, just kind of reverse that and start paying those bills and take care of your needs first rather than the fun stuff first. And when she did that, then she had enough to go around. So you can jot down how often you'll save. This says, for example, like every 2 weeks. Mine's automatic deposit, so I don't have to worry about it. I know when I first got out of college, I said, well, whatever's left over at the end of the pay period, that's what I'll put in the bank. Well, guess what? There was never anything left over because it was too easy to fritter away, $10 on a pizza, $6 on movie rentals or whatever, and then, there's nothing to put in the bank. So how much money could you easily save in the amount of time you chose? And it's okay if it's a small amount. I remember the days of, well, I can't afford to put anything in the bank. And it's like, okay, just aim for $5. So aim for, well, that's pretty doable. Just cut out a movie rental or something. And then after a few months of doing $5, I can bump that up to $10 and so on. So it's okay to start if it's small. Don't feel like, what's the point? Yeah, even $5, $10. I mean, anything you can do to get started would be good. So how much is easy for you to save? And they show, I'll save $5, or I'll save $20, $50, whatever is easy for you. Again, that's the key thing. So after a year, if you have that same amount, how much would you have? So because little expenses or little deposits can add up over the course of a year. You might see, oh, okay, wow, I'll have $300, I'll have $600, I'll have $1,200 or something like that. So, so the important thing to set yourself up for success is oftentimes people will try to do too much when they start, and then they feel like a failure if they don't reach it. No, this isn't working, why bother? So aim for something that's easy and doable, and then you can adjust it from there. Now, some ways to reduce costs. What are some ways to reduce costs? Shopping around, price comparison. I remember in high school I had a business class, and in one of our assignments was to go to 2 or 3 different stores in town, look for the same item, and figure out how much did it cost here at this store, how much did it cost there at that store. And sometimes there wasn't a big variance, but other times there was, and it can add up. Can you find a cheaper alternative or a free alternative? Man, there's so many streaming services now. Have you heard of IMDTV or something like that? But anyway, now it's Freevee. That was an app I saw on my TV last night. And I'm like, wow, look at all these shows. And they had some newer shows. And then they had classic shows like Petticoat Junction, I think Dick Van Dyke, Rockford Files. Then they had some newer shows, older shows, and it was all free. They just had ads that you'd watch commercials. So I'm like, yeah, and there was no cost for that. I was like, well, that's pretty neat. There's different ways to reduce costs. Phone options, internet options. Is there a as good provider that's got a better deal on a plan? Shopping around, talking to friends. I'll say, wait, you've got, who do you have for your internet provider? How are they? Are you happy with that? Because it's not all about the price. It's no good if it doesn't work very well, I remember sometimes having DirecTV and it would rain and you'd lose your TV signal. Like, where's the TV? Oh, it's raining. Oh, okay. So, what are some things that you do to save and reduce costs?
We try not to eat out all the time. Sometimes we'll hit phases where we're tired and don't feel like cooking, and we notice it in our banking account big time.
Yeah.
We love food a lot.
Do you guys have kids?
No.
Okay. One of the things I did with our kids, sometimes my kids would say, I had 2 girls, and they'd be like, we want to go out to eat tonight, And so my way of controlling the cost on that would be, I would say, well, okay, we can go out to eat tonight and then I would name the 2 or 3 affordable places. Forget Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. That was not an option. But, I'd throw out 2 or 3 options, and I'd say we can go here, 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 and then kind of let them choose from among that. And if we don't get an appetizer and we don't get dessert and we get water, we don't get soda. Because for a family of 4, soda is like more than $10. And by the time you get taxed on it, and then you're supposed to tip on it, it's more like $12, $13 just for soda. So that was part of the deal, unless it was a special occasion. If it was a birthday, sure, get a soda or whatever. But if it was just a Thursday, then it was like, well, we can go if, we just stick to the food and just get water. And they are always like, yeah, sure, yeah, okay. And that worked well for us. But that was one of the ways we reduced cost going out to eat. Anybody live near a Walmart? I live a mile away from a Walmart neighborhood, which is both a blessing and a curse. It's kind of like a double-edged sword. And I swear I wasn't buying frivolous stuff. It's like, this is stuff we need and stuff we use. And it wasn't like I was buying so much food it would spoil and go bad before we'd eat it. But one of the things that I noticed, and I'm looking at my bank statements going, oh my gosh, I'm spending so much money at Walmart, I might as well work there and get an employee discount. So one of the tips that people can follow is to limit the number of times you go to the store. Because I was going literally, out of a 7-day week, I would probably go 4 or 5 times a week. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to go less. And for whatever reason, I mean, it wasn't like I didn't have a list or something anyway, but for whatever reason, I don't know why, maybe I was buying too many things that we normally use but weren't on the list. But I noticed by cutting down, by reducing the trips that I took to the store, we ended up saving money. So that was one thing. We got rid of our home phone years ago, which many people have, because it's like, well, 95% of the calls I get on my home phone are people who want my money or my vote, you know. So why am I paying for people to advertise to me? So we got rid of that years ago. So take a look at your different expenses. Take a look at things. Take a look if you got Spotify, Pandora, HBO Max, Hallmark, whatever, all these streaming things. Ask yourself, do we get our money's worth out of it? I dared to go there the other day with Hallmark. That was bad. I was like, I don't think we've watched the Hallmark channel. I want my Christmas movies. I'm just saying, I don't think you watched anything on there for like 6 months now, but since Christmas. But so some things will probably be non-negotiable, but other things you might say, yeah, we've watched that channel once in the last 3 months, so let's get rid of that service, or so. Just being mindful, taking a look at where you're spending your money and reviewing it is a good practice, and you'll find some ways to save. If you can find 5 different things to reduce or cut out that cost $10 a month, that's a $50 a month raise. If you can find 5 things to cut out or reduce that cost $10 each, that's $50 a month. That's $600 a year. Some people, that's all the raise that they get every year, $600. So, and what I tell people is, and that $600 you saved, you've heard a penny saved is a penny earned. Well, a penny saved is really more than a penny earned, because that's $600 that you saved by not spending it on odds and ends that you didn't need or want anymore. You would have to earn about $850, $900 or so to then take home that net pay of $600. So you really saved more like $900 that you would have had to earn to save and spend that $600. So, all right, moving on. So step 5, brainstorm your own ways you can cost some savings. So let me give you a minute to do that. All right. Mary Sanchez. She don't hear. I'll give you a few more seconds. One of the things my wife started doing in the pandemic was, I don't think she did it before that, but during the pandemic she started doing that Walmart grocery pickup service where she could order it and then go pick it up. And I was like, I didn't get it at first. I was like, well, I mean, I understand you go and pick it up. I'm like, what's the benefit to you? What do you like about it? And she said, well, for one, it saves me time running around the store. They do that, not me. And two, I don't have to worry about impulse buys because I'm not running around the store. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, look at that. And I was like, oh, that's a good. I didn't even think about that. So, that was something that was helpful. And now we upgraded to that. It's kind of like their version of Amazon Prime or something where they'll deliver to your house. That was a godsend when we had COVID. Can't go to the store. They'll just deliver it. So what were some ways you thought of to reduce costs?
I got seriously into disc golf last few years, but discs are expensive. But the nice thing is it's very common to find like used discs or even like donated discs and stuff. So I could stop buying new discs and stop losing discs, be more aware of where I'm throwing them. So
Okay.
Stop making my hobby so much about money pit. It's not like I'm spending ridiculous amounts right now, but I can definitely see how costly it can become. So that's one of my bullet points I have.
Okay.
We're very fortunate to not have we don't have too many like streaming subscriptions. Luckily my parents let me use their passwords for most of them.
Password sharing.
I know. Shouldn't say that too loud.
Netflix says they're going to crack down on
I know they are.
And people are like, how are they going to crack down on that? Because I travel for work. I mean, how are they figure that's not me, you know? But anyway, so yeah, password sharing is, I'm not sanctioning that, but I hear that's done quite, yeah. I could pull up my Netflix account right now. You might see both of my adult daughters on there. So, okay.
Mine is making a meal plan and sticking to it. I work at Whole Foods, so it's the not going to the grocery store as often doesn't work for me. And I think it's a blessing and a curse. Like I get a pretty good discount, but also like if I don't, I try to cook the extra dinner, bring it for lunch, which I'm successful about, I'd say 40% of the time, 30 or 40, I think 40 is a little nice. But trying to get better at that, like making sure that I actually have a meal plan and instead of just like picking something up for lunch, like bringing it with me.
All right. Is there anything you came up with? Well, you keep thinking.
Use the library.
Yes, exactly.
Also
Use the
that,
library.
The
Don't
library.
buy-
yeah,
And don't pay for, Netflix or something.
yeah.
Wait till it comes out on
Oh yeah.
disc.
Right, and you can rent it here, that's so true.
There you
I forget
go.
about all of the great
Yes.
things that the library offers.
We already just talked about this, so the interest in time, we'll move on. What was some of the ideas you thought of? So what's easy and has impact out of the things you kicked around? It says, easy, cut your costs meaningfully, grocery store coupons needed for items that I buy regularly. What do you think might be your best money savings tip if you haven't mentioned it already?
Limit the number of times you go to the store.
Okay, that works for
Because we
me.
do a lot of impulse buying.
Oh, would work for me. I would. I feel like that's like one of my biggest expenses, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go for one item
Yeah.
and come out with bagfuls.
Oh, I hear it all day, every day, that's for sure.
Yeah. The FedEx guy came by yesterday and said, hey, Michelle didn't have a package for her yesterday. Is she okay? Yeah, no, I'm kidding. She says, hey, I'm not buying any more stuff than I normally do. It's just I'm not going to the store to get it. I'm just having them send it to me. So it helps with time management. Let's see, how to break it down. So where will I do this? When can I do this? Who can help me do it? Ta-da. So finding coupons for something you need, for example. Maybe you can surf for that and look while you're watching TV, finding some coupons at a certain time, a person you can do it with. So it's trying to get you to say, what's my specific game plan, rather than just say, well, I'll save on expenses. You know, what are some specific steps that you can take to do that? Yes, Taco Lady.
I just want to add something.
Please do.
It might be a little bit extreme, but I want to give you a specific example. My husband and I have some good friends that the husband is in a wheelchair now, and his wife doesn't like to leave him alone to go grocery shopping or get her haircut or whatever. And so every other Friday, I go sit with Charles and Jean goes to do the shopping. She literally writes everything down on her grocery list according to where she knows it is in the aisle. Yeah. So instead of going to produce and then going over to cat litter and then going over to the frozen food section, she literally puts everything in order. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes she comes home and she's a little bit aggravated because, as we all know, it's one of the marketing tools that Walmart,
Store reset.
stores
Yes.
do that to get us confused of where we're going, because they want us to pick up that extra bag of raisins or whatever chips off the shelf. But she's very particular of how she does that. And she's not only cut back on the amount of time that she's gone from the house, but it's cut back on her expenses as well. And like I said, it might be a little extreme. I personally had never even thought about that. Now, don't get me wrong, if I've got something I need from the produce section, I'm not gonna put cat litter in between my produce. But she just goes to that extreme to make sure that she's going down the aisle, this is what she needs. She's not looking at all the glittery packages that are trying to get her attention to make her buy something that wasn't on her list.
I just need this and this on this aisle. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
I take that one step further and make my list according to what store I'm going to check. And
Yes.
sometimes I have it twice, like carrots. Aldi's and Walmart. See who has the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she actually does that too, but I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Nan. Perfect.
Well, how do I keep the money aside so you can write down where and when you'll deposit that amount? Once I've saved the money, I'll make my first deposit, $25. You know, on Sunday on my way home. I mean, they get really specific, and the more specific and detailed your plan, the more you can visualize it and follow through with it. In the bank next to the grocery store. I'll tell you, one of the saving strategies that has worked the best for me, now I've got an RVest account for stuff I pay on a regular basis and so forth, because there's, you know, at least one RVest on every corner, so it's very convenient. Well, what I found was, for my savings account, it was too convenient. So what I did was, I got a friend who works at a bank, and it's on the other side of, Ray, it's on the other side of Rogers. He only has one bank in Rogers. It's not like they got multiple locations. And I'm like, I want a savings account where if I have a true emergency, I can go over there and get my money out. But otherwise, I don't have a bank that's within 5 minutes of my house that I can go to my savings account and say, ooh, I want to take out $700 to buy an Iron Man suit for Halloween or whatever, So that helps. You've never done that? Don't judge. No. So that's one of my probably my biggest saving strategy that I used was I chose a bank that was, was in town if I truly need it, but it's like literally 10 minutes or so from my house. It's not easy to go get that money, but yet for an emergency, yes, it is. So that's been helpful for me.
Mark, that's a great point.
Thanks,
because
Mary.
When I'm counseling my clients, in the action plan, if one of their goals is to learn how to save, I always encourage my clients to open a savings account in a bank that they normally don't use, to make it more difficult for them to get access to that savings. Because a lot of times, some clients will say, well, I have a savings account, but every other week I'm transferring my savings into my checking account because I've overspent. And I'm like, well, you, in my opinion, would be better off having a savings account in a bank that you don't normally use. Make it more difficult to have access to those funds. And good point, Mark.
Thanks, Mary. Yeah, it's common for people to have a financial Achilles heel. And I know when I was, just out of college, a debit card was too easy for me to use. And so once I recognized this isn't good for me right now at this point in my life, then I cut it up and I got rid of my debit card. If I needed money, I could write a check or go into the bank and get money out, but a debit card was just too convenient for me at that point in time. So, and it's kind of like my saving strategy for the last, 6 years, 8 years or something, has been to have that account at a bank across town, and that's really helped. Unfortunately, things don't always go according to plan, so having a backup plan could be helpful in case things go awry. So for your backup plan, what's likely to get in the way of your steps? Is there anything you can think of? What can you do to complete your steps if that happens? So for example, if I work late on Thursday and I don't have time to find coupons, because I worked late and I'm just too tired, no, I'm not going to do coupons today. Well, then I can find coupons on Sunday before I go to the store. So that's an example of, what might pop up and how can I still stay on track. And we're doing good on time, so yay. We'll wind down here in a couple minutes. And remember, setbacks are not failures. Setbacks can happen. That's okay. I love the saying, it's really not whether you'll ever get knocked off the horse. It's, do you get back up again or not? Because life can be good about knocking us down. So, expect at some point it can and will happen. The real question is, will we get up again? Will we get up again? So, slow and steady wins the race kind of a thing. Stick with it. It's really true. For example, if someone gets downsized and loses their job, well, saving isn't really a priority at that point in time. That happened to me once 26 years ago. Saving wasn't a priority. It was just, I've got to survive, So that's okay. You can get back on the savings track whenever the opportunity is right. And you can set some reminders. You can use an app or write down your steps on a paper calendar, take a picture of your plan, set it as a screen lock on your phone, write it on a Post-it note or something, post it where you'll see it, like in your bathroom mirror, your wallet, and you can put it in multiple places. It doesn't have to be just in one place, of course. You might put it on your mirror and on your phone. I've got reminders, like daily reminders that pop up on my phone, calendar, remind me of stuff. I've got weekly reminders, monthly reminders. So, there are different options that we have that we can do. All right. So if you look at what you actually did, tonight, you chose a savings goal, you found some strategies to help you achieve that goal, and you made a plan. So now your next steps are to take those steps and to make those deposits. Ta-da! And we do have a survey. It's a pretty short, just 1-minute survey, if you don't mind filling that out for us. And also, as part of our grant that we have, Capital One says, please follow up with people, 4, 5, 6 months down the road, and just ask them, did you make some progress? Kind of a thing. There's like 2 or 3 or 4 questions that literally take a minute or less. If you don't mind a follow-up email, we're not going to spam you or anything like that, but literally maybe 4 follow-up questions to help us with our grant report. And please put down your email address, and I'll follow back up with you in 4 or 5 months and say, did you make progress towards your savings goals, that kind of thing.
And that will also help the library bring more programs if they keep getting funding.
Yeah, you bet. Absolutely. So thank you for filling out the survey there. And if you have any questions, I will answer them because Mary has left the room.
Please follow the group. I think that was a great way to give us just a path to start with. And then if you have any other questions, I know we can just send you an email or give you a call, right?
Yes, absolutely. And if you've got, if you want that one-on-one attention, you can easily get it. Like I said, with Mary, it's a free appointment. And the basic financial counseling appointment, they create a budget with you, take a look at your financial situation, gives you tips and recommendations, all for the low, low price of free. So.
I didn't know about that resource, so I think we're definitely, our finances are all but completely joined, so that's going to be a really good resource for us to use.
Okay. Yeah, joint. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the counseling sessions can be done together or separately. I mean, if for a couple, together is obviously awesome.
And so did you want me to send any of the feedback forms to you?
The which ones?
Oh, the feedback forms here.
Oh, the library ones? Yeah, if you could do that.